Black Lightning, issue one. Brandon Thompson writing with FICO OSSIO on the art. You checked this out, Matt.
Yeah. So, I do love the character of Justin Pierce. He was in the Outsiders book that we read that was, I think, Brian Hill, right?
That
With
sounds right.
Katana.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was all real good. And he's a teacher, so I have a soft spot for him on that. Um, so I came into this one a bit optimistic, and I'm super let down that it didn't hit, you know, not that I thought it was going to be anything, just the subject matter that it's dealing with. It just feels like this is going to end up being a miniseries, right? Because I don't know what other grounds that it's going to stand on. Because when it starts, it's immediately picking up during, they call it the night that Amanda Waller won, right? So it starts with Black Lightning and his family getting attacked by the Amazos. Um, and when their powers got shut off, Jefferson couldn't rescue his daughters, and so he's been having issues with that since. And so him and Anissa's Thunder, him and Jen, the Lightning, the daughter with the lightning powers, not the thunder powers, they've been going around Metropolis and other places where they've found out that when everyone got their powers taken and returned during absolute power, that it's also kicked on some of these metagenes and some of these unknown or these people that didn't realize that they had them. And so he's been going around because he's good at dealing with kids and whatnot from being a teacher, and helping them settle their powers. It just seems like everybody that they're dealing with the powers are all lightning based, which seems like weird. And so we get introduced here to Garfield High in Suicide Slum, which in Metropolis, which is now being called the Southside Heights. And there's a kid in the bathroom freaking out because of his powers are manifesting. Police have him. They're giving him to the count of 10. As it gets down, the kid's powers explode, but Jefferson gets in there and helps, dissipate it. He introduces himself as Black Lightning, and they bring him up to the Watchtower so they can, run all these tests. And you kind of get just an establishment of what's been going on in case people aren't following other books. They're Justice League's headquarters here. Everyone has the card to get in and out. And the kid is getting tested because he doesn't know how to control the powers. It only seems when he gets super upset. As they're running the tests, Black Lightning's daughter gets a call, and it's her sister, and it makes it seem like here that she doesn't have her powers. She's been hiding in New Orleans apparently because she's been depressed, and Jen tells Anissa that it's like, hey, you should just come around. You'd still be helpful. Like, all of these people. And they bring up her relationship with Grace, who's just been reintroduced in Birds of Prey, which I thought was pretty cool. Because they were on an Outsiders team way back in the day when Judd Winnick was writing it. So that was a nice little reference. But, and that Jen's essentially living her best life. Wonder Woman has like complimented her. She's being looked at as like, one of these new up and coming younger heroes. And her sister's like, oh, that's nice, but like I have things to do. And she's all very, secretive, kind of. She has her hood up. She's walking around this fountain. And she asks how her dad's doing. And he's like, well, he got called up to essentially the principal's office, and it cuts to him talking to Superman. And they just talk about how Superman's proud of Black Lightning for taking on this job of like calming the kids down and finding their purpose, and they're glad that they have him. And they get a call that in, where's it at? In Suicide Slum, Metropolis, where they just came from, there's another outburst on a steel works train above the city. So Black Lightning and his daughter rush there. There's another lightning person running around, and they're telling them to stop, and it looks like it's a girl. They get to the edge. Jen grabs grabs the lightning person, and the energy starts dissipating. And Jen looks and's like, "Wait, no, you're not supposed to be." And there's a big explosion. Jennifer gets knocked down. Black Lightning goes to pick her up, and he gets flashes of when he couldn't save him when the Amazos attacked. And after he catches her, they land. There's a big crater. The other person comes down, and it's Thunder. So now she has lightning powers, and she's like, "I'm sorry, Dad, it happened again." And that's where it leaves off. The art by FICO OSSIO is pretty good. It's typical DC health style. It's a little bit darker in like shadows. So like when we're up in the watchtower, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. You know, when they're up in the watchtower, things feel very clean and in that kind of sci-fi way. Here, everything feels dark and there's shadows around every corner, which doesn't seem to fit a space station, really. But other than that, it's decent. Superman and Black Lightning both look too jacked now that I'm looking at it. Like they're drawn extra muscly. They look like they've been hanging out with Brian Cage from AEW. But yeah, and I just wish I liked this book more because it wasn't the type of Black Lightning book I was expecting. You know, dealing with him being in Metropolis. You know, it just seems like they're calling him to deal with lightning people. You know, and that's so far the two that we've seen him respond to. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep going. It was worth a shot. And yeah, I think it's Brandon Thomas was the writer. Seems like he has a good control of Jefferson, but yeah, just kind of weird book that I feel like is only existing as far until they can tie up all the all-in or absolute power kind of loose ends. So yeah, so I'll give this a 6.5.